Odin, the supreme god of Norse mythology. Welcome to our channel. Today, we journey into the mysterious and harsh world of Norse mythology to explore its most powerful and complex deity, Odin. He is not only the ruler of Asgard and the leader of the Aesir, but also embodies multiple fundamental aspects of existence. Odin is the god of wisdom and knowledge, war and victory, magic and prophecy, fate, and even death. His image is a fusion of the creative power of a ruler and the destructive might of a warrior, making him one of the most intricate and paradoxical figures in the Norse pantheon. The myths about him are filled with deep philosophical meaning. Odin is not just the sovereign of the gods. He is an eternal seeker of truth, willing to make any sacrifice in pursuit of knowledge. He gave up one of his eyes to drink from the well of wisdom and voluntarily pierced himself with a spear, hanging from the world tree Yggdrasil for 9 days and nights to uncover the secrets of the runes. He is fully aware of the inevitability of Ragnarok, the destruction of the gods and the end of the world, but he does not retreat, knowing that fighting against destiny still holds meaning. But why was Odin so important to the Norse world? The ancient Vikings revered him not only as the great ruler of Asgard, but also as the patron of warriors, poets, and seers. He inspired them to achieve greatness in battle, gave them the strength to overcome hardships, and granted the chosen few the ability to glimpse into fate. His influence persists even today, appearing in literature, film, philosophy, and popular culture. What secrets does Odin conceal, and how do his myths reflect the worldview of the ancient Norse people? Let's find out. Chapter 1. Origins and the Creation of the World. Odin is one of the greatest and most enigmatic deities in Norse mythology, with origins tracing back to the very beginning of existence. He was the son of Bor, a descendant of the first living being, the primordial frost giant Ymir, and Bestla, a member of an ancient race of Jotnar. This mixed lineage makes Odin a figure that bridges two opposing forces, order and chaos, the power of the gods and the wild might of the giants. Before the emergence of gods and humans, the world existed in a state of primordial chaos. In the vast emptiness known as Ginnungagap, two opposing forces collided, the searing heat of the fire realm, Muspelheim, and the icy cold of Niflheim. When these forces met, the melting frost gave birth to the first living giant, Ymir. Unlike the future gods, Ymir possessed neither virtue nor reason. He was the embodiment of raw, primordial energy. From his body, new giants spontaneously emerged, populating the world. However, alongside Ymir, another being appeared from the frost, a great cow named Audhumla. By licking the salty ice blocks, Audhumla gradually revealed a new entity, the first godlike being. Thus, Buri, the progenitor of the Aesir, was born. His son, Bor, later married the giantess Bestla, and they had 3 sons, Odin, Vili, and Ve. These 3 gods were the first to embody the new order that would replace chaos. Odin, Vili, and Ve recognized that the world created by the giants was wild and untamed. To bring structure and harmony, they made a fateful decision to slay Ymir, the primordial giant, and use his body as the foundation for a new world. When the brothers killed Ymir, his massive body became the very fabric of creation. His flesh turned into the earth. His blood filled the void, forming seas, rivers, and lakes. His bones became mountains, while his teeth and shattered bones became rocks and cliffs. His skull was lifted above the world, forming the sky which was supported by 4 giants, Nordri, Sudri, Austri, and Vestri, north, south, east, and west. His brain was scattered across the sky, transforming into clouds. Thus, the very act of creation was based on sacrifice, a fundamental theme in Norse mythology. This motif of sacrifice would later be reflected in Odin's own story. After shaping the land, sky, and seas, the gods saw that the world was still incomplete. They then created the sun, moon, and stars to illuminate the heavens and divide day from night. The celestial bodies were placed in the sky and assigned specific paths to follow. Next, the brothers created the first human settlement. One day, they found 2 tree trunks, an ash and an elm. Odin breathed life into them. Vili granted them intelligence and emotions, and Ve bestowed upon them speech and physical form. Thus, the first humans, Ask and Embla, were born and given the right to dwell in the middle realm, Midgard. The Norse creation story is deeply symbolic. It reflects the ancient Norse belief that order arises through struggle, and that creation always requires destruction. From the very beginning, Odin played a crucial role in shaping the cosmos, later becoming not only its ruler, but also its defender against the forces of chaos. This is why he continually sacrifices himself for wisdom, knowledge, and the future of the world, even knowing that Ragnarok will one day bring everything to an end. But is the end truly final, or does destruction lead to rebirth? The answer lies in the myths that follow. Chapter 2. Odin, the supreme god of Asgard. Among all the gods of the Norse pantheon, Odin holds the central place. He is not merely the ruler of Asgard, the realm of the gods, but a figure whose influence extends far beyond its borders. His power spans across the 9 worlds, binding them together with invisible threads of fate, magic, and wisdom. Asgard is a celestial stronghold built by the Aesir as a fortress and home for the gods. Within it stand great halls, the most prominent of which is Valaskjalf, the palace that houses Hlidskjalf, Odin's throne. Seated upon this throne, Odin can see everything that transpires across the 9 worlds, observing both mortals and gods, watching over their fates. However, even such immense power does not grant him absolute control over events. He can foresee the future, but he is not always able to alter it. Beyond Valaskjalf, Odin possesses another great hall, Valhalla, the resting place of warriors who have fallen in battle. In this majestic hall, feasts never cease, and the Einherjar, the chosen warriors of Odin, train tirelessly, preparing for the final battle of the gods during Ragnarok. Although Odin is considered a god of war, he is vastly different from his son, Thor. Thor embodies sheer physical strength. his hammer crushing enemies, his fury raging like a tempest. Odin, however, operates differently. He relies on cunning, strategy, foresight, and magic. For this reason, he is not only a god of battle, but a god of victory, triumphing not through brute force, but through intellect and wisdom. This makes him the patron not of ordinary warriors, but of kings, chieftains, and strategists. Many Norse rulers claimed descent from Odin, believing that their wisdom and power stemmed from him. Odin often intervenes in battles, guiding their course with his magical knowledge. However, his favor is fickle. He may support one hero, only to abandon him if fate demands it. Odin is not just the supreme god. He is the embodiment of intellect, magic, and authority. He rules Asgard not through force, but through cunning, knowledge, and sacrifice. Odin weaves intricate strategies and seeks hidden paths to victory. Chapter 3. Sacrifices for Wisdom, Odin's Path to Truth. Unlike other gods who are content with their power and status, Odin seeks to understand the fabric of the world, to uncover its secrets, and to attain mastery through knowledge. For this, he is willing to make any sacrifice, even if the cost is unbearably high. Two of the most famous stories hid to his quest for wisdom are his sacrifice of an eye for Mimir's knowledge, and his ordeal upon the world tree Yggdrasil. Both acts emphasize that true knowledge is not easily gained. It demands determination, suffering, and even self-sacrifice. One of the most well-known legends about Odin tells of his encounter with Mimir, the guardian of hidden wisdom. Mimir lived at the roots of Yggdrasil, guarding a magical well whose waters granted not only knowledge, but also the ability to perceive the true nature of things. Odin longed for this wisdom, understanding that without it he could not govern the fates of the worlds or withstand the coming catastrophe of Ragnarok. But Mimir was unwilling to share his knowledge freely. In exchange for a single sip from his well, he demanded something truly valuable. Without hesitation, Odin plucked out his own eye and cast it into the waters. From that moment on, he remained one-eyed, but gained the ability to see hidden truths, comprehend the future, and foresee the unfolding of events. In Norse culture, this myth carried deep meaning. Odin became a symbol of sacrifice in pursuit of a higher purpose. He did not seek personal gain, but knowledge for the greater good. His one remaining eye did not merely observe the world, it pierced through to the essence of all things, perceiving the past, present, and future. Yet, Odin's sacrifices did not end there. The wisdom he gained from Mimir was not enough, for the god wished not only to understand the workings of the world, but to wield control over it. To do this, he needed to master the magical symbols, the runes, which not only conveyed knowledge, but also granted power over fate itself. But the secrets of the runes were not easily revealed. To attain them, Odin undertook a harrowing trial. He pierced himself with a spear and hung for 9 days and nights from the branches of the world tree Yggdrasil without food or drink. Suspended between life and death, he entered a deep trance, like a shaman performing a ritual of enlightenment. On the 10th day, the truth was revealed to him. The runes appeared before his eyes, and he grasped their meaning. They were not merely letters. They embodied mystical forces capable of shaping reality. With them, Odin gained dominion over fate, learned to control wars, alter reality, and foresee the future. This ordeal sets Odin apart from all other gods. He is not just the ruler of Asgard. He is a priest and a shaman who personally endured suffering in the pursuit of knowledge. He did not wait for fate's gifts. He sought them out, even when it meant enduring pain and trials. The legends of Odin's sacrifices carry profound philosophical significance. Unlike many other gods, he acknowledges his own vulnerability, but rather than fearing it, he uses it as a tool for growth. He sacrifices an eye to see more. He offers himself to Yggdrasil to gain power over destiny. This is what distinguishes him from heroes who achieve greatness through strength and valor. Odin chooses a different path, the path of wisdom, which proves to be just as perilous as the battlefield. This path demands sacrifice, pain, and the willingness to part with a piece of oneself in order to gain something far greater. Chapter 4. Odin as the God of War. Odin's role as the God of War extends far beyond the traditional perception of a war deity, such as Ares in Greek mythology. He does not merely embody physical strength on the battlefield, but also represents strategy, fate, and even the very concept of victory and defeat. Unlike other gods, Odin does not seek chaos or destruction. Instead, he strives to bring order to the world through his governance of wars and battles. Odin does not simply observe warfare. He actively determines the fates of those who take part in it. He influences the outcomes of battles, choosing who will live and who is destined to die. However, his role in this process is not always straightforward. He understands that war follows its own logic and meaning, and death is not always the ultimate goal. It is all part of a greater design leading to the final battle, Ragnarok. Odin gathers the finest fallen warriors in his grand hall, Valhalla. This majestic place, built for the bravest fighters, offers a new existence to those who perished in battle. In Valhalla, warriors continue to fight until the end of time, Ragnarok. For them, it is not merely a resting place, but a training ground where they prepare for the ultimate confrontation that will determine the fate of all worlds. Within Valhalla, the Einherjar, the souls of warriors who have left the world of the living, serve Odin. Every evening they feast and celebrate their bravery, and each day they return to battle once more. These warriors are unique because, for them, death is not an end but a transition into a new existence. They are not ordinary mortals who died in combat, but chosen souls whom Odin has brought into his realm. Their death marks not just the conclusion of their earthly life, but their transformation into heroes destined to play a crucial role in the final battle. The Einherjar reside in Valhalla, constantly training and engaging in endless combat. Although they are already dead, each fight serves as preparation. They know that, at any moment, they may be called to fulfill their ultimate duty, to stand against monsters and gods on the day of Ragnarok. On that fateful day, the Einherjar will become part of Odin's army, battling the forces of chaos that seek to destroy the world. As the god of war, Odin's influence is not limited to battle itself. He is a master strategist who uses his wisdom and magic to manipulate fate and shape the outcomes of wars. He understands that war is not just a physical conflict, but also a struggle involving destiny, magic, and the human spirit. He wields the power of runic magic and his prophetic visions to make decisions that can alter the course of war and the fate of warriors. Odin's wisdom lies in his ability to see beyond mere victory or defeat. He knows that even in the most brutal battles, valuable lessons can be learned, and sacrifices may serve a greater purpose. He understands that every fight has a deeper meaning, and that sometimes even death in battle is necessary to achieve a greater triumph in the future. For the Vikings and Norse warriors, Odin was not just a mythological figure, but an ideal to strive toward. He represented the perfect warrior, not only physically powerful, but also deeply knowledgeable about the world and fate. The Vikings believed that by following the principles Odin taught, they could achieve not only victory in battle, but also honor and glory, just like the great warriors residing in Valhalla. The idea that death was not the end, but merely the beginning of a new phase of existence, was a central part of their philosophy and worldview. For them, Odin was not merely a god of war. He was a symbol of honor, dedication, and wisdom, a deity who taught that true warriors must not only fight, but also understand the deeper laws governing the world. Even today, Odin remains an important symbol in Norse culture, and his influence continues to be felt in mythology and beyond. Chapter 5: Ragnarok and Odin's Fate. Ragnarok is the ultimate prophecy that foretells the end of both the gods and the entire existing world. This cataclysmic battle, where the forces of order and chaos will clash, will have far-reaching consequences for all realms, including Asgard, the home of the gods. Like the other deities, Odin knew he could not escape his destiny. The prophecies of Ragnarok had been known since ancient times, and every god understood that one day they would have to face their inevitable doom. Despite this, Odin did not flee from his fate, nor did he seek refuge or attempt to avoid his end. Instead, he continued to prepare for the inevitable, doing everything in his power to protect the worlds and ensure that his warriors were ready for the final battle. The myth of Ragnarok is not just about the fall of the gods. It also reflects a core Norse belief: the importance of fighting to the very end. And knowing that death was unavoidable, the Vikings valued courage and resilience above all else. They believed that it was honorable to stand and fight, even in the face of certain destruction. Odin, as both a god of war and wisdom, recognized the inevitability of Ragnarok. Yet he met his fate with unwavering determination and bravery. He did not merely fight against the enemies of Asgard, he also trained and guided his chosen warriors, the Einherjar, who would join him in the final battle. To Odin, Ragnarok was not just a catastrophe. It was an opportunity for his followers to prove their valor and willingness to sacrifice for a higher cause. One of the most tragic moments of Ragnarok is Odin's battle against Fenrir, the monstrous wolf whose coming had long been foretold. According to prophecy, this beast, a son of Loki, would play a pivotal role in the world's destruction. The gods had once bound Fenrir in chains, but on the day of Ragnarok, he would break free, in an explosion of rage and power, setting the stage for his final confrontation with Odin. The myths foretold that Fenrir was destined to bring about Odin's demise. In their climactic battle, the great wolf would devour the Allfather just as had been prophesied. This event symbolizes the inescapable nature of fate. Even the mightiest of beings cannot avoid their destiny. Fenrir, though restrained for a time, was never truly defeated, and on the day of Ragnarok, his release would mark the peak of destruction, where death and devastation would reign. Fenrir was a terrifying and unstoppable adversary, and his battle with Odin remains one of the most significant symbols in Norse mythology. It reinforces the idea that even when one knows their fate, they cannot turn away from their path. They must face it head on. However, the myth of Ragnarok does not end with the destruction of the world. It carries a deeper philosophical meaning. Odin, aware of his fate, did not see his death as mere annihilation, but as part of a greater cycle of existence. This highlights the Norse worldview, where death is not the final chapter, but a necessary step within an eternal cycle. Odin not only accepted his fate, but also used it as a source of strength for those who followed him. This belief was fundamental to Viking culture, the conviction that one must fight to the last breath, even in the face of an unavoidable end. The legend of Ragnarok serves as a reminder that death should not be feared but embraced as part of life's natural order. The Vikings saw it as a symbol of unwavering strength, teaching that the struggle continues until the very last moment, and that even in death, heroism and purpose can be found. Although Ragnarok predicts the death of the gods and the destruction of the world, Norse mythology also speaks of renewal. After the great battle, a new world will emerge. As Odin falls and Asgard is consumed in flames, the world will be shattered, yet from its ruins, new lands and new lives will arise. A new world will be born, and among the remnants of destruction, fresh beginnings will emerge. From the ashes of Ragnarok, new gods will rise, and perhaps those who survived will witness the dawn of a new, brighter age. This notion of rebirth after devastation carries a profound message. Even after the greatest destruction, there is always the potential for renewal, for a new cycle to begin anew. Chapter 6. Symbols and Attributes of Odin. Odin, the greatest of the gods in Norse mythology, was always surrounded by numerous symbols representing his power, wisdom, and connection to both the living and the dead. Each of these attributes played a crucial role in defining him as the god of war, sacrifice, and omniscience. Let us take a closer look at the most significant symbols and attributes that accompany Odin throughout the rich mythological tradition. Hugin and Munin, Odin's eyes and ears. One of the most recognizable symbols of Odin is the pair of ravens, Huginn and Munin. These birds were not just his companions, but his very eyes and ears, allowing him to stay informed about everything happening in both the world of humans and the realm of the gods. Hugin and Munin played a key role in Odin's service as they traveled across the worlds each day, bringing back all the important news and events. Huginn, whose name means thought, and Muninn, meaning memory, symbolized wisdom and awareness. These ravens had the ability to fly across the world, gathering information and delivering it to their master. In essence, they served as his spies, enriching his knowledge of the happenings on Earth and beyond. Their presence is closely tied to Odin's philosophy. To possess wisdom and power, one must remain at the center of events, observe and understand. Norse myths often emphasize that Hugin and Munin could reach even the most distant corners of the world, making them invaluable in Odin's fight against chaos. Thus, they symbolize the god's connection to the world of mortals, his ability to gather knowledge, and his role in spreading it. Geri and Freki, the wolves of Odin. Odin is also closely associated with two wolves, Geri and Freki. These mighty beasts were not only his loyal companions, but also powerful symbols of war and sacrifice, further defining Odin's character. Geri and Freki accompanied Odin on his journeys and played an important role in battles, representing ferocity and determination. Myths describe them not just as his battle companions, but as full participants in his great struggle against chaos. Their names, Geri meaning greedy and Freki meaning ravenous, reinforce their connection to the nature of war and untamed strength. They were always by Odin's side, embodying his readiness to fight against any foe. Wolves also symbolized sacrifice, as many myths link Odin and his companions to the idea of offering something great for an even greater cause. The stories of Geri and Freki remind us that war requires not just strength, but also a willingness to make sacrifices, an idea deeply embedded in Norse culture, where battle was seen as a necessary offering for victory. Interestingly, according to ancient legends, Odin himself told his warriors that Geri and Freki had always been with him in his darkest and most dangerous moments, when he had to fight monsters and giants. The wolves were not only his protectors, but also symbols of the idea that even the greatest gods must seek allies in battle. Gungnir, the spear of precision and magic. Another powerful symbol of Odin is his spear, Gungnir, which has always been associated with accuracy, power, and magic. Gungnir was forged by the master dwarven blacksmiths, who were known for crafting objects of extraordinary strength. This spear possessed unique magical properties. It never missed its target and always struck with perfect precision, making it an unparalleled weapon. According to legend, Gungnir was a gift to Odin, and he used it in battles against the forces of chaos, as well as to maintain balance in the world. With Gungnir, Odin could influence the outcomes of battles, emphasizing his role as the god who governs fate. The spear was not merely a weapon, but also a symbol of supreme authority, just like fate itself, which Odin controlled. Gungnir, as a representation of magical power, also symbolized Odin's spiritual strength and unwavering will. It is often associated with prophecy and wisdom, as Odin could use his spear to foresee the future and alter the course of events. This made it not only a formidable weapon of war, but also a powerful tool for influencing time itself. Valknut, 3 interwoven triangles, as a symbol of the afterlife. Odin is also linked to the mysterious symbol known as the Valknut, which consists of 3 interwoven triangles. This symbol carries deep philosophical meaning and is closely tied to the concept of the afterlife and the transition of souls. The Valknut represents the connection between the world of the living and the dead, reinforcing Odin's role as the ruler of Valhalla, where the souls of fallen warriors are gathered. Each of the 3 triangles is believed to represent death, life, and rebirth, emphasizing Odin's function as a guide for souls. The Valknut, therefore, can also be seen as a symbol of eternal struggle and transition, which has no beginning and no end. This symbol is often found on ancient stones dedicated to Odin, serving not only as a religious emblem but also as a reminder of the warrior's path, one who sacrifices his life for a greater cause and is then reborn to fight once again in the final battle. Each of the symbols associated with Odin plays a profound role in Norse mythology, reflecting important aspects of his personality and divine authority. The ravens, Huginn and Munin, embody wisdom and vigilance. The wolves, Geri and Freki, represent war and sacrifice. The spear Gungnir signifies magic and power, and the Valknut symbolizes the connection to the afterlife and eternal struggle. These attributes do not merely complement Odin's image. They help reveal his multifaceted character, his essential role in Norse mythology, and his lasting influence on Scandinavian culture. Chapter 7, Odin and Shamanism, a connection to the Otherworld. Odin was not only the greatest of the gods, but also a master shaman, possessing magical powers and knowledge that allowed him to uncover the deepest secrets of the universe. His abilities and imagery are closely intertwined with the practices known as shamanism in the myths and religions of ancient cultures. Odin embodies magical traditions that involve interacting with the spirit world, foreseeing the future, altering reality, and even traveling between different dimensions. Let's take a closer look at how Odin represents these ancient shamanic practices. One of the most significant magical skills Odin possesses is Sidr, a form of shamanic magic used for divination, influencing events, and altering reality. This art enables a shaman to enter otherworldly realms, perceive the future, and shape the course of events, forming the foundation of Odin's power as a mighty god. Sidr is a practice that involves deep transcendental experiences and the ability to enter an altered state of consciousness. Odin uses Sidr to communicate with spirits, seek knowledge, and predict future events. Unlike other forms of magic, Sidr demands a special kind of sacrifice and discipline from its practitioner, as it not only grants insight, but also the ability to change fate itself. According to myths, Odin practiced Sidr by temporarily transforming into a woman, highlighting his ability to shift forms and embrace different aspects of existence. This transformation reflects his connection to ever-changing forces capable of traversing all realms. To master Sidr, Odin was willing to make immense sacrifices. According to legend, he hanged himself from the great world tree Yggdrasil, undergoing severe suffering and trials. In the end, he gained knowledge of the runes and the magic of Sidr. This act symbolizes Odin's profound connection to shamanism and his role as the keeper of hidden wisdom. Accessible only to those willing to endure personal hardship, Odin is a deity who constantly exists on the boundary between life and death. This characteristic, common among shamans, is expressed through his ability to transform and his willingness to sacrifice. In myths, he is often depicted as a god prepared to make extraordinary sacrifices in his relentless pursuit of knowledge and power. Odin does not fear confronting the darkest aspects of existence, making him a unique figure among the Norse pantheon. Conclusion: Odin is not merely a god. He is the embodiment of the philosophical foundations and worldview of the Norse people. His image is not limited to that of a ruler of Asgard or a god of war. He represents a profound metaphor for Viking culture and spirit, embodying the pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, and the search for life's meaning. Odin is a figure willing to pay the ultimate price for power and wisdom, because he believes that true understanding of the world is impossible without sacrifice. Unlike many other gods, Odin does not fear death, suffering, or pain. He embraces fate as an inevitable part of existence and possesses the great gift of perceiving the world in all its complexity, both light and dark, living and dead, revealed and hidden. Through this, he inspires his warriors, granting them not only martial valor, but also the wisdom needed to endure life's greatest trials. For Odin, nothing is impossible when the goal is the pursuit of knowledge and ultimate truth. He is not only a god of war, but also a figure who accepts its inevitability. Within him, destructive power and deep philosophy coexist. Odin does not merely fight. He contemplates, analyzing each step and every victory, understanding that they are merely parts of a greater cosmic design. His ability to balance wisdom and martial prowess makes his image both universal and profound, an eternal symbol for those who seek to understand the nature of existence and follow their destiny. Through the figure of Odin, the Norse people express the idea that sacrifice is not merely a loss, but a path to enlightenment, inner strength, and true power. The belief that wisdom and greatness often come through suffering and trials was a fundamental aspect of Norse mythology, shaping culture and thought for generations. Odin remains the greatest symbol of Norse mythology and an archetype of one who embraces fate with dignity, despite its hardships and inevitability. His path teaches us that true strength lies not only in victories, but also in acknowledging one's weaknesses, an understanding that allows one to find harmony in a world full of contradictions. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about mythology, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss our latest uploads. We always appreciate your likes and comments. They help us create even more engaging and fascinating content. See you in the next video.